have to act if we want to live in a different world.
Hello and welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. As your host, Captain Kibs, joined by my good friend Fairman.
Wah.
And today we'll be talking about something I didn't think we'd be talking about in such a positive and slightly optimistic tune, considering what we normally say about things. We'll be talking about Command & Conquer Remaster. I don't really cover games anymore, and I haven't been into the loop of this, so let's dive right into it. So, EA and Petroglyph have teamed up to remaster Command & Conquer, Tiberium Dawn, and Red Alert 1. This has been news for a little while now, and this includes all the expansion packs. So, I'm not sure if anyone's got a little bit of remaster fatigue just from various companies biffing it up, like Blizzard and Bungie with Halo CE, just being really bad netcoding. I know, very bad. Is it sad that I'm actually slightly optimistic towards EA for a change? you wouldn't think that happened.
Remember, EA can do well if they want to, because they usually don't want to.
Well, anyone can do well if you have enough fucking money. Jesus Christ. But either way, they got a lot of the original developers back together to make this Command & Conquer Remaster. Going through and getting some footage from the older games, like the PlayStation 1 game, to get some of the campaign footage for Red Alert 1, and getting Frank Kilpacky to come back and remaster the soundtracks and stuff like that. They've been pretty good for those who've been following the Reddit, and being very open and discussing changes and things that they want added. And the nice thing about this remaster is not just going through and making it run on modern systems, because Tiberium Dawn and Red Alert 1, for me, are impossible to get to work stably. Same goes for Tiberium Dawn and Red Alert 2, so I do hope they go in the future and remaster those, because they are borderline unplayable at times for me to do the campaigns, because they don't work. Which is kind of tragic.
Not aged particularly well.
These are games that actually desperately needed to be remastered, so I'm actually very happy, because I don't have to go drag out my Sega Saturn if I want to play Tiberium Dawn anymore. Oh, thank God. But,
Having a Sega Saturn.
yeah, I had it on the Sega Saturn. The nice thing is they will be adding in the bonus missions, by the way, for the games that, like the console bonus missions, because I had Tiberium Dawn on my N64 as well. They had a couple bonus missions. The PlayStation 1 edition had it, and I believe the Sega Saturn might have had some bonus missions.
General Carvel in Red Alert 1, which means he is an established character. He was an established character at the point of Red Alert 2.
Yep.
But the Americans weren't officially involved in that conflict.
And the first war.
They were only what's called. They
So,
weren't
in the background supporting.
Yeah.
But not directly involved in the war. Sort of like World War II is what we were in Red Alert 1. In Red Alert 1, there's going to be some serious plot discrepancies for those who are a little bit dusty on the lore. Red Alert 1 is originally the prequel to Tiberium Dawn, which takes place in the 90s. Tiberium Dawn is basically based off... Well, it was the first one, so it wasn't based off Red Alert 1. Red Alert 1 was basically going to set up Tiberium Dawn. So there's actually some tracks, if you look at some of the screenshots, and they say Tiberian Suns and stuff like that, like bonus track and stuff like that.
I mean, in one cutscene in Red Alert 1, you literally have them talking about setting up a global defense initiative to prevent future wars like that.
Yep. Basically establishing what would become Tiberium Dawn. I kind of hope if they are going to reboot the franchise, if they do Tiberium Dawn, that they actually keep that alt universe, because that would be kind of cool. I like the idea that was one big continuum, but then they split it with Red Alert 2 into a more parody like line. But some bonus features that were not in the original, so these are brand new features, which are actually really nice. Unlike the other remakes or remasters, they don't really add anything to fix up pre-existing problems. These quality of life improvements are a necessity. So the first thing, which is just nice to have, is a skirmish mode for Tiberium Dawn. That means that Tiberium Dawn, if you remember, the original version did not have a skirmish mode. It had a LAN mode where you could play online with others. I never did because I didn't know how that worked as a little kid. But Tiberium Dawn now has a skirmish mode, so now you can play skirmish. So that's really cool. You can play with all the units and stuff. The only time I've ever had a chance to do that was OpenRA, which just changes the game slightly.
The balancing, I'm not a fan of the balancing.
Yeah, OpenRA is kind of, it's alright. It's not my favorite. But now we can actually play with more or less the original, which is kind of cool. Another really cool feature is replays.
To be fair, Tiberian Dawn's balancing wasn't as off like Red Alert 1's.
Red Alert 1 was pretty imbalanced. I think the Soviets were extremely powerful.
Yeah, they were just basically superior in almost every aspect to the Allies. But then again, it wasn't balanced around around this. It was balanced on campaign.
The other thing, replays, observer mode. I'm probably not going to make too much use of those, honestly. Camera zoom controls, that's just a nice thing to have. Unit queuing, this is the big one for me. You can queue more than one unit. In Tiberium Dawn and Red Alert 1, you could only build one unit at a time. Oh god.
Let's hope they add waypoints as well.
Oh, I don't know if they'll add waypoints. That's a good question. I didn't see it there. Quick save support, so you can do quick saves. That's very nice. Not absolutely necessary. Bonus gallery with some bonus stuff. Cutscenes and behind the footage stuff, which is kind of cool. That was never released, so you can see that.
Yeah, there was a video the other day where the Jim Turn gone on an archaeological expedition and found a shitload of old stuff.
And the other big thing that's going to be really nice for workshop support is a map editor. Now, I'm hoping the game's going to be pretty open, so I would love to see this game modded.
Editor,
oh, go ahead.
At least for Red Alert 1, Red Alert 1 had a map editor. Tiberian Dawn, I'm not sure. I don't think
it didn't come with it. I know because I have the PC version I inherited from my pops, and that did not have it. I know that much. It's going to include all the expansions, so it's Tiberium Dawn, Red Alert 1, both remastered with all the expansions. Very nice with online support. Very nice. A level editor. Nice. A workshop to compile all the maps and stuff like that. Very nice. All this is very good. And the fact that the music and soundtrack is going to be remastered, also awesome. Now, from what I can tell, is there going to be a button switch for the graphics to classic? Because you can switch to classic.
They set it on the go, so probably going to be a button switch.
Oh yeah, so we can toggle it off and on. That's nice. It's not going to be like, you know, what it would have been like had Halo not botched their remaster for 1, where you could just cycle between the two and compare, which would be nice. Halo 1's a very bad example because they botched the shaders very bad because it's based off the Gearbox port, which is absolute trash. Bit of a shame. But with this, it looks like they're going more or less based on the community feedback and how well they've been in contact with everyone. It has me optimistic, cautiously optimistic, but very optimistic nonetheless. And I like how the visuals, more or less, they're simplistic. They look almost like toys. And that I like because it's very much in tone and in line with how it was originally.
What you have done with the old graphics?
Oh, based on the perspective and style, not much, because the style of the sprites was due to a limitation back then. Now pixel art back then was a limitation. Now pixel art is not a limitation; it is a style.
The one thing on that screenshot you have on the right side on the helipad, that hind looks a bit meh. But that's about it.
It looks kind of like the original, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, except they're all a lot more high-res. You know what it reminds me of? If you're familiar with a game called Factorio, the art from this looks like Factorio. And that's kind of charming in its own way, in my opinion.
The one thing I hope, seeing the chrono tanks on that thing, I hope they are actually usable, because in the old games they were not usable because you needed to deploy them and then you needed to click on the part of the map and you needed to do that with each one individually. You couldn't just say teleport all of you guys over there. No, you needed to do that for everyone. So they were, in theory, were good for sneak and
so one problem I see off the bat, a feature that is desperately missing, is the selection bar they added in Tiberium Dawn and Red Alert 2. At the bottom of the screen, there was a toolbar.
Oh, that one, yeah.
The toolbar ran along the bottom of the screen and had different options such as waypoints, etc., etc. Attack move. I'm hoping they add attack move and waypoint-based system because honestly, it's just quality of life RTS features.
They probably are in the game, but in terms of what's called keys, but not in with on-screen thing.
Not to be overly ambitious with desire here, but one thing I really wish the CNC franchise would receive is the ferry system from Supreme Commander, where you can set up rally points to transports, and have transports have ferry points to ferry things for you. It'd be very useful for like naval transportation, because Red Alert 1 has naval yards and naval production and the naval maps. It would just be very nice to get the units automated.
You usually didn't need those.
Usually you didn't. Normally what I would do is I would actually send an MCV across and just build a factory on the other side.
Or something.
Because honestly I found ferrying to be rather...
Make a bridgehead.
The only reason why I mentioned that is because Red Alert 1 in particular was the only one that had that sort of problem with the... Red Alert 2 had naval stuff, but it wasn't like egregiously annoying to get around. Red Alert 3 same. It was kind of just Red Alert 1 that was kind of annoying with some of the water.
What's nice is that they did add the building tabs, so you can now train infantry and vehicles at the same time, because in the old games you could either build one building or one unit at the same time, and now you can have one infantry and a vehicle at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Vehicle and infantry have been split, so that will change up the dynamic of the game slightly, but honestly that's a quality of life improvements if anything.
They did not go with a special tab for defensive building.
No, I'm a little disappointed. I was kind of hoping that this would actually be similar to Red Alert 2 and Tiberium Sun. Or no, not Tiberium Sun. Tiberium Sun still used that old archaic system. Red Alert 2 added the tab system, in which you had the buildings tab, the defense tab, the infantry tab, and the vehicles tab. As well as vehicles included naval and everything.
But then again, with the defense buildings, maybe that would have changed the gameplay too much, so that's why they didn't.
True, you would be able to build even faster because you could build 4 separate things. Because in theory, it does change things, because instead of just building a single building, now you can build a defensive structure and a building. So that does fundamentally change the gameplay.
Infantry in the old games wasn't really that strong.
Infantry in the old ones are actually relatively weak-ish by comparison.
Very squishy. Just one V3 rocket could just obliterate a whole platoon.
I kind of liked how squishy infantry were in the original, because adversely in Red Alert 2, like a Rhino tank could shoot at a GI for an hour. You'd be better off running them over.
Yeah, that was a bit of the rock paper scissors thing, so that they have infantry actually being.
But then again, Red Alert 2 added garrisonable buildings, which changed the dynamic of the game even further. Because Tiberium Sun did not.
And they removed those units that just wipe out your own, let's say like in Red Alert, the Grenadiers. They were in Tiberium Sun. Oh, if 2 of them die, you can have a chain reaction and all of your infantry dies.
One thing I do like is the lightning effects. It reminds me of the box art, because I have a lot of versions of Command & Conquer, by the way. I have like 2 versions of Red Alert. I have one of the PlayStation one, and I have the PC one. I have 3 copies of First Decade. Don't ask, I kept losing them. I have it on Steam, or on Origin.
Also, they have the head.
But one thing...
They didn't change it.
What are you talking about? The Tesla truck?
No, the head. I always thought when I was against the Radar Dome, it looks like a fucking bowler head.
No, they didn't really change it. It's the same. It looks like a little bowler hat. I like the lightning effects, by the way.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of the box art for Red Alert Retaliation on the PlayStation 1, because it had, on the manual, it had a guy, and like the lightning was like engulfing him, and it was pretty cool. And I like the damaged bridge here.
The trees don't look too much different from the old one, from what I remember.
No,
also, the barrack, I got the feeling that some of those buildings are in the old graphic, because the barracks don't look much different.
No, they don't. Like I said, one of the things that I like so far about this, besides just extra decals, like on the Tesla trunk, and on the tanks in general, there's just some extra details, a lot of extra details. Especially on the light tank. The light tank is one of the bigger ones, definitely, and the APC. Sorry about that, bumped my mic. but there seems to be more or less they try to keep in line with the general shape of things, and I do like that. I'm kind of wondering what the infantry idle animations look like, where they do their cigarette smoke or they do the push-ups, you know?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's
Smoking.
gonna look cool.
Karate chops in midair.
Tiberium Dawn. And the color palette. They seem to have stuck with the exact same color palette. Look at that. Here's a picture of Red Alert 1. And again, they had the same color palette as Tiberium Dawn because they were basically the same engine.
The money says, in the GDI thing says 1959 and in the Red Alert 1969.
1995, as you mean, you dyslexic motherfucker.
1995. That's not dyslexic. That's
Yeah, no, that was a cute little nod there on the screenshots. So, again, it seems to me like a lot of passion is being put into this. For instance, look at the building icons. The building icons are almost identical in the same perspectives as their originals. Though. The one thing that looks not different at all is actually the comm center.
Yeah.
That one looks almost verbatim the same.
Maybe that's because that's not final yet.
Perhaps. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if it was the original or not. Either way, I do like the new style. It looks like they're like little toys, and I like that. I like that a lot. Oh gosh, look at the Tiberium. That's the, is it the Renifarius Tiberium? Renifarius?
That's the basic,
because Vinifera, or Vinifera, what it was called, is the
the base Tiberium, yeah.
No, that one's not. The Vinifera, I'm believing, is the, after the Tiberium went through that cascade in Tiberium Sun, after the second Tiberium Wars, it became more like a lattice proton structure. And the original one, it's much more organic, and that's why in Tiberium Sun you have that, like, that organic apocalypse of Tiberium, you know, transforming the Earth.
Like a lava state, because it's an organic one. It could.
I prefer that though. Like I like the idea when Tiberium was a life form that was slowly transforming the world, and then they went on to say like it's just a giant crystal, and I'm like, that's dumb though.
To be fair, the crystal thing isn't that unrealistic. The idea of that something like this. Just
I know, but I find Tiberium Sun's approach much better when it came to
the
Tiberium.
Because you had all of the mutants, which actually looked interesting.
They were supposed to have their own faction. Okay, here's the thing.
You had the mutated plant life, while in
you had to bring it up, Fairman, because now I'm gonna have to rant about it. If they remastered Tiberium Sun, I would kill for them to not just remaster it, but finish the third faction, which was supposed to be the mutants, from what I can tell. It wouldn't be a remaster, it'd be almost a remake. But I think at this point, maybe like a half remaster, half remake would be prudent.
I think if this one is going to do well, we're gonna get probably another remaster.
I mean, sales are already through the roof. It's on top sellers. And I intend to add to that number at some point.
Yeah, I mean, even I normally don't do that, but for this, yeah, no. It's $20, it's not too much.
The infantry shooting animations look identical too.
Yeah.
And the rocket guy, when he gets those demons and fires, like a green army man.
Yep.
Oh, sandbags. I remember like trying to build those. They're so useless. Tanks just roll right over.
The worst thing is I remember from which mission this map is.
Yep.
And I know for a fact that in this mission you don't have mammoth tanks. So they added some of those things in so it looks better.
For cosmetic effect, Fairman.
The biggest problem probably gonna be the cutscenes, because in following that they could not find them in a higher resolution.
Nope.
So they had to do AI upscaling. So the best,
not just that, but they also used the PlayStation 1 cutscenes.
Yeah.
Which were much higher scaled.
This is pretty much the best they could get, short of just completely making new cutscenes, which they said they didn't want to do.
Good, because I don't want new cutscenes. I want the originals.
The one thing they could have redone in terms of cutscenes were the render sequences. Those could have been made.
Honestly, no. I like the old CG. I just want that cleaned up. I don't want new.
It's an option.
Well, it's not an option. That's more money investment.
True, but that would be the one if they want to make new cutscenes. Those were the ones where I said that was okay to do. But
Aftermath, Counter-Strike. Was Retaliation a console exclusive, or was that a bundle? Because there's covert operations in Tiberium Dawn, Red Alert 1, Counter-Strike, and the Aftermath.
I never played those because those were hard to come by in Germany.
They are, but they were actually added to the collection edition. The 20 games or whatever, the bundle on Origin that you can buy.
First decade, and then what was it called? Anniversary edition.
Anniversary.
I think.
Yeah, I have the
Never
anniversary
bought
and
those,
first
yeah.
decades. Well, you don't have the Origin one?
Nope.
I did.
I have my original copies, and to be fair, with some of them I just got used.
I bought so many versions of Command & Conquer, it's not even funny. I have it on. I bought the N64 version purely because I wanted to see Tiberium Dawn with fucking 3D graphics.
I love how it says on Redone Aftermath, 7 new units.
15 new missions for covert operations. The Aftermath. Wait, where
Well,
does it say
this
new
is
units? Oh yeah, 7 new units. Oh Jesus.
Oh yeah, that added Volkov. Oh, I remember in that one mission with the Soviets, you with Volkov shitcoin, and then you go up against Tanya, and the outro for that mission shows one of those soldier what's called graveyards with Tanya Adams' tombstone. I remember that one stuck with me because you kill in that one you kill Tanya.
One thing I gotta say though, Petroglyph and EA, like, keep being engaged with the community, assuming that this delivers, right? Based on when this video is made. Because based on what I'm seeing a relatively promising looking product.
I mean, so far I don't see why this would fail, short of, okay, it only gets a nostalgia crowd. But from all that we've seen, it's probably not going to be that
From the footage we've seen, and from everything we've seen, it looks to be a solid remaster. What a remaster should aspire to be. For example, Age of Empires 2. While I'm not a big Age of Empires fan, the Age of Empire remakes, for the most part, have done pretty well after their botched attempt at the first one, but they apparently went back and fixed it. I did some research. And it's better now. So that's the standard for what a remaster should be. You don't have to add new things, but you should add quality of life things. And the quality of life things that they have added are a massive improvement to the game. Because the problem with a lot of old games, let me just use an example. If anyone is familiar with Warcraft 1, and if you're not, I'll tell you one big problem the old game has. The poor old thing has one big issue, and the issue is there's no multi-selection. You cannot select multiple units in Warcraft 1. You can only select one unit at a time and issue one order at a time. And then you can only move with the minimap. There's no panning either. It is virtually impossible to play if you've never played it before, like myself, and tried to play it because I was like, oh, I really like Warcraft 3. I kind of want to see what Warcraft 1 has to offer. And 2 it more or less is playable. 1, on the other hand, is just abysmal. And I think
that's why they should have remastered those.
They should have remastered Warcraft 1 instead of, 3.
That's
because
why good
one
call
needs it.
on EA of remastering those and not the which Red Alert 2 is one of the most popular games. They could have just gone, we're gonna remaster that, but that one, all things considered, somewhat holds up in a way. Definitely didn't need it as bad as the first 2.
Now, I may be getting a little over-ambitious here, because I like to be imaginative, I suppose. But one thing I would absolutely love to see is not only Command & Conquer from Tiberium Dawn, to the bare minimum to Yuri's Revenge, on terms of release, all remastered. But another treat, I think, would be to see Renegade get a remaster. I know that's being overly ambitious, because that one, I think, performed rather poorly.
If they want to do that, they should just contact the Renegade X team and work with what they already have.
Maybe.
That could
I don't
work,
really want to...
just...
That's not an Unreal Engine, and it kind of runs like Ease.
Nah.
No. I'm talking about just a remaster. I don't want like a different version of the game.
True.
I want the same engine, the same bugs. No, I'm kidding. I don't want the same bugs. I want the game more or less intact from the same. I don't want it to be remade on a different version with new problems.
In terms of remasters, I heard a lot of people say they want a generous remaster.
Generals is
I
one
liked.
of the weaker Command and Conquer
I
games.
still liked it, but I don't think that one is necessarily needing of a remaster because it still runs. It still has.
I'm gonna pop your bubble there. Generals more or less runs, though it runs rather poorly. One thing, let me just finish. Warcraft 3, when it ran actually pretty decently on modern systems. In fact, I had no problems with it. In fact, it was only after. Well, hold on. It was only after Blizzard patched it was when I actually ran into issues. "Quote unquote" patched it. They broke it. And so I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think, more or less with Generals, General doesn't really run for me. I can't run 0 Hour, it doesn't work. But I can run the original, and that's it. So I would not actually mind if they remastered that one. Other than that, I wouldn't mind if they just released a patch for the other ones, just to get them to more or less work better as is. I don't really have problems with Tiberium Wars, and I don't have problems with Red Alert 3. They run and they work. The one thing I do have a problem with is Red Alert 3's servers have been shut down. This means that you can't do the cooperative campaign, nor can you do the multiplayer. And
without mods.
The expansion pack didn't get multiplayer. Poor thing.
You can still do multiplayer, but you need to go for a third-party service.
Yes, and that's how we did our multiplayer campaign a long time ago. I think that's how you met us, if I remember right.
I think I fought you over the Skaven RP on Arch, and then I just looked at this and said, yeah, you know what? It's good. This is good.
Yeah. Other than that, though, I've got to say, I'm nervously optimistic. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, because like we've been burned before, and it's Command and Conquer. I really want this to work.
We got burned before. That's why I'm looking at this. This sounds too good. There's something bad going to happen.
Well, we just had a rather bad run with remasters, and excluding the Age of Empire 2 remaster, which is actually pretty decent. I'm hoping that this one will be good, because I know there's been a lot of people saying like, oh, no more remasters, lazy. Well, I agree partially. I think the thing like Warcraft 3 sets a bad example, but I think remasters are necessary to preserve older games that just simply don't work anymore. Because I can't really play this, and that's why I'm hoping this remaster is good. I could have played Warcraft 3 back in the day until Blizzard, fucked it, or I shouldn't say Blizzard. Take Blizzard, poor Blizzard's name in vain. Activision, the company that is Blizzard now, that ate it and killed it, basically just, stamped all over it. So I'm kind of hoping with this that we see a standard set, more or less. Or, well, not really set, it's already been set, but just reinforced with a good release. And maybe this is a turning point for EA. I'm not against the idea that, company heads change. A company name is a company name, and a company is as good as the people that are inside of it. So if they're incompetent hacks, like it was in the past, where they made Tiberium Twilight and they lied to us, they burned us pretty bad. They burned us pretty bad. And they burned us very bad with the browser game that they made as well, Tiberium Alliances. And then they made a mobile game after that. They burned us very bad. And so, I hope people understand my skepticism. But at the same time, I do think it's time for... Like, we've had enough bad games. We've had enough bad adaptations. It's time for something good. And EA's had a golden age before. And I don't want to sound too blindly optimistic here, but I think they could have one again.
If they want to. If they don't decide,
well, it's their choice.
We'd rather be greedy.
It's their choice. Well, I think there's a ton of great people that work under EA in different studios. I just think, unfortunately, had some pretty bad management direction. Yep. And it seems like that direction has changed. So, well, who knows? Maybe these words that we're saying now are going to age poorly, or hopefully they'll age well, because I'd like to believe in something.
It's a current standard. We can just say it like this. Information standard.
Oh man, think of the sandbags on that base. It doesn't make a lot of sense because nothing can come off the corner of the map. Oh, it's purely cosmetic.
Well, but then again, also it helps against its cover. Not in-game, but...
Well, it prevents like an
Nothing about
engineer
it.
from riding along the edge. The biggest problem I have with sandbags, not to complain too much here, sandbags and fences. Firstly, fence and sandbag. Fence was pointless. I do like how in Tiberium Dawn, they just outright, or not Tiberium Dawn, Tiberium Sun, they outright removed the sandbags and the fences and just said, nope, concrete slab walls.
Yeah, that makes most sense.
And they introduced the gates. Oh, fuck, remastered Tiberium Sun. Because the gate system, like, I love it. And these subterranean vehicles, oh, God. With the remastered Suns track.
This sneaky shit not pull. You needed stuff like that.
Suns, Tiberium Suns is kind of what I really want remastered next. I'm getting a little too ambitious. We haven't even gotten this one yet, but like, because I have a difficulty running that, and I would just love to be able to properly play through it again. I'm hoping this does well. I'm hoping this does well, and I'm hoping that Petroglyph and EA will work closely together to bring us, you know, not only just just get the Command & Conquer franchise revitalized and, you know, playable again, because, by the way, there is a thing called cncnet.org. That is the only way I've been able to get my Command & Conquer games to work. Through cncnet.org, yeah. They have fixes there. That'll get all the games running.
Yeah. Also, they
more or less
offer multiplayer.
Yes, and if you're looking to get into the multiplayer side of things, they
Call
do
me.
have server support. It's the community that's kept this thing alive, and I'm glad that whoever's in charge over there has realized that and has been in constant
I think that was
connection.
Jim Vesela, who was came from the community. He had an internship. That's why they call him Jim Turn.
Jim Turn? Oh, God.
Yeah, because he was an intern. His name was Jim, and that was the nickname they gave him. And now he's the producer or project lead.
That's good. Then he probably has a better understanding than most.
Also, he probably cares about the thing because he is a fan.
These are honestly, these are the things I wish a lot more studios would do, is put people in... I mean, I can understand, you still want people with technical know-how, but sometimes you really need that person who's passionate about the project, that cares about the franchise and the community.
To lead it in the right direction.
Yep,
yeah.
to bring it back. Because Command & Conquer has lost her way, and she's lost her way for a very long time. And so, it stands to reason that when somebody gets put into a position of power that understands what's happening and why things aren't working, that things
cares about the thing.
maybe start turning around. One thing I just noticed, Fairman, the scorch marks have little embers on them. I wonder if those actually are animated, if those embers glow.
I don't see them.
Yep, little orange marks. That is an example of what we call embers. Heat spots on the scorches. The black marks are more here. Because there's two types of...
Maybe I can see them because of quality of the...
Oh, just check the Steam page. I'm probably going to buy it through Steam, even though it does... I think you also get it on Origin if you do that, because it's technically an Origin thing.
I think it works like, if you have it on Steam, you need your Origin account to log in. Does it
We
say
will,
it needs Origin? Normally it says if you have a third-party program.
Coming June 5th, we will be streaming on launch day. I will have to take that day off and make it up on the weekend. But we will stream the game's launch like we did with Warcraft 3, and we will take a look at whether the game is good or not. Some of us have to make sacrifices, and $20 reduce is a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Even I'm willing to make that.
They have me.
Cheapskate.
They have me beat. They have me cucked on the goddamn nostalgia factor.
I mean, I said this in our first video about this.
Oh.
If nothing else, we're gonna get some remastered music out of it. So.
While ranting, I completely neglected to notice that unit queuing can be toggled on or off, and you can switch to legacy controls versus modern. That is nice. So if you really want to be archaic as fuck. And that means that you could experience the campaign 100% the original way, in case that... Because, again, people may not think, like, these minor changes actually do affect how the game was originally designed. Silos needed. Why, is there a thing for turning that off? Because that'd be nice.
I don't know, resource capacity.
Resource capacity. Selection, always. Resource capacity selection. Always resource
No idea
capacity.
Yeah.
What? Does that mean? Does that mean that silos don't matter anymore? Silos.
I don't know.
I mean, I hate silos, but at the same time, they're part of the original game. And the
I
one
mean,
thing I like
silos
is when they're filled with
always
Tiberium, they go boom.
That's why they kept silos in the Tiberium universe, but they removed them from Red Alert, because Red Alert was basically just resources that got turned into money. And the Tiberium wars, the Tiberium needed to be stored, and it made a lot more sense to have Tiberium silos than having the silos in Red Alert.
There's gonna be tooltips.
Oh, which is nice.
Tooltips are nice. In fact, I think if you have well-designed tooltips, personally as a designer, I think that actually, with tooltips, if your tooltips are well made in your game, you don't need a tutorial. If you do them right. Because tooltips, if programmed right and set up in the right way, can teach a player how to play on the go. Especially because you can adjust the speed. What was
There
that?
was one game, I think that was Dawn of War, which had very good tooltips, unless you finish the tutorial, because the moment you finish the tutorial, it disables the tooltip. Which was just hard.
Between the tracks? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's basically, oh, do you want to have this track immediately start, or do you want to have 5 seconds off silent?
I do like the custom playlist. Oh my god. So when we stream this, I have an idea already. We're gonna put the tracks like... what I think we should do is we put the tracks back to back. Oh, but at the same time, you know what? When we play it the first time, when we stream it, Fairman, what we should do is we should just let the tracks play randomly as they were intended to. No mixing.
No mixing.
And then halfway through...
So no Tiberian Dawn music in Red Alert. No.
Oh, do it up. Oh yeah, I'm a mechanical man. I'm a mechanical.
Also, from what I heard, they are probably gonna get to enjoy some new ones, because apparently he found some old master files and decided to quote-unquote finish them.
So, for example, Waifare, waifus,
Waifu fair.
Warfare, full stop, Tiberium Suns bonus, Tiberium Suns. Is this a reference to potentially Tiberium Suns? Am I getting a little too optimistic here?
Tiberium Suns is a band.
Okay.
They named themselves, and they work with Frank Klepacki in this game, and in general they started working together.
That's pretty badass. Cool thing about Frank Klepacki, fun fact of the fucking day. Frank Klepacki does music for some of the mod games, the mods of Tiberium Sun. Twisted Insurrection, there's a lot of custom tracks that he helped with there. And I think in Mental Omega...
they are not custom, but he made music out of that, and they just handpicked them, and basically, oh, this one sounds very aggressive. He put that on the Soviets. They only have that for 2 factions, for the Allies and Soviets. Yuri and the 4th faction have their own respective.
As a quick little thing to explain what Mental and Twisted Insurrection, Mental Omega and Twisted Insurrection. Mental Omega is a overhaul along with Twisted Insurrection for Tiberium Sun for Insurrection, and Omega is Yuri's Revenge. And basically just sort of overhauls the game with different missions, campaigns.
Overall,
like
complete new campaign with a lot of fan service, basically.
Fan service.
Yeah, no, it is a complete new campaign.
They have the cancerous thing that I absolutely loathe about any good Command & Conquer game. Kibs, if you don't know, I'm talking third person because I'm retarded. Basically, anytime they do stealth missions, I just want to gouge my eyes out.
Yeah, there are a lot.
I hate those things. I hate stealth missions so much.
That's why I want Kibs to
limited units, go stuff yourself. I don't want to deal with that.
That's why I want Kibs to play Metal Omega, especially the Yuri campaign, because pretty much the
you
whole
streamed it to me, and that's the reason why I don't want to play it, because I'm like, oh my god, it's nothing but stealth missions. Stealth missions. The game doesn't even have stealth mechanics.
And to be fair, with Yuri's section, it doesn't make sense that he would use subversion.
Yeah, sure, canonically that makes sense, but I still don't want to indulge myself in suffering now, do I?
It's the same with if you play Nod campaign and don't expect some of those campaigns well, then you're playing the wrong.
Yeah, but Nod is okay because it's fucking Kane. He lives. Peace through power.
You see, I'm always was always an apostle of the master, so
Yeah, but Yuri's like, he's only in one game. He's kind of like, he's kind of an incel. Kane, on the other hand...
You what, man? You wouldn't fight.
Shh, incel, quiet. Now, the Chad, Kane, is... He is the prophet. He is the Messiah. What are you gonna do about it? You gonna cry? That's what I thought. This conversation's over.
I'm gonna beat you.
I want this game. It's been a very long time since I've actually been, like, enthusiastic about something, which has me worried.
I mean, this at least ensures that this year there's at least a second game I actually want.
I normally don't make a habit of pre-ordering things, but at the same time, it's going to be in my cart, and I'm not removing it until it comes out. So unless something comes out in 2 months that I don't already want or have, it's going to get purchased. And it's getting added to the wish list because I really, really want it.
Really want
Ah, but I'm not getting excited. We're not getting excited because every time you get disappointed.
Oh,
so
you're gonna get a little bit excited.
a little bit optimistic, but skeptical. Skeptical, the mastery of skepticism.
Never stop being skeptic. That saves a lot of trouble.
Because, trust me, the more often you're skeptical about a game's release, the less often you'll be disappointed. Because the last game that I was truly hyped for was Rome 2 Total War.
Oh
that
boy.
was a disaster. And
last game I was
when
hyped
it
for was
launched,
Mass Effect 3, then I finished it. And
oh, I
then
didn't
was
play.
done.
I didn't play Mass Effect until Mass Effect 3 was out already. But with that game, with Rome 2, that was the first game that I was in denial of it being bad. So I basically would be like, no, it's not bad. People are like, it's trash. I'm like,
I don't
no.
know, weren't you
I was
pretty excited
basically a
for
simp
Imperator?
for it. No, Imperator? No. Imperator was like me playing it for a few minutes and going like, I kind of want to die. I'm kidding. I tried to be optimistic in the streams and look at the bright side of things, because when we're playing games, Fairman, our group tends to get negative very quickly. So it's like, okay, let's be optimistic about the game and try to. It was very
There's a lot
difficult.
of mad bitching.
Imperator was very difficult to be optimistic about, if at all, because I just remember being fucking bored. And Warcraft 3 Reforged was just disheartening to see something so half-assed.
It was a cash grab. It was a clear cash grab.
Like, the visuals weren't even reworked in an honorable way. Like, in here, I can visually look at something like, oh, that's an infantryman.
You
That's
immediately
the
know what
medium tank,
unit
heavy
is.
tank, light tank, APC, Tesla truck. You know, mammoth tank hiding behind there. Or and they just, in Warcraft 3, I look at units, I'm like, I can't tell what that is. That's not a good sign. If you look at something that's supposed to be remastered, you should be able to, these things should snap. It should be very easy to tell.
I mean, there is a bit of problem. Did you know there's a dog on that screen, kids?
Yeah, see him right there, puppy.
Oh yeah.
I can make out the silhouette.
Oh, the fucking death son.
Oh no! Puppies are gonna
That
get
was
slaughtered.
actually in the German version of the game the one thing that had blood. When you killed a dog, there was blood.
Oh yeah! That's the thing. Okay, so we need to talk about this a little bit. Just because this is kind of like just a passion talk at this point. Command & Conquer, when it was released in Germany, you poor Germans get fucked so hard on every goddamn thing.
Whenever someone got driven over by a tank, it made a noise of a tin can getting coffee.
Crumpled tin can.
I probably should play that one day just for the
Oh god.
running of it.
We should do like a mini series on the German Command & Conquers and how butchered they are. Oh my god.
Generals. Oh god, after 9/11 that got recut. Oh god. All of the guys were cyborgs and
Generals is good, and if they do, like, Generals is good because it was another comedic RTS, and I know a lot of people weren't really looking for that, but I thought it was funny. I laughed at the overzealous American troops liberating things like insanely hard, and then I laughed at the comedic like GLA as they're like fucking like, We will liberate the people as they blow up a dam and kill all the
Yeah,
people.
the absolute amount of dams that got blown because they were very proud of the water mechanics. That's why in every demo, in every trailer, you saw that the dam getting blown up.
The water
And that's
blowing
why
up,
in
or a
every-
tower falling on a vehicle and blowing it up.
And that's why in at least every campaign you have at least one dam getting blown up.
Okay, now that we've been doing this for a long time, it's time for EA to acknowledge something. Okay, EA, listen.
EA
So,
hates dams.
firstly, Dune RTS, come on, fix that one up too. And while we're at it, Battle for Middle-earth. That's right, Victory Games. You guys developed that too. Yeah, you're not weaseling out of that. Was made by the Command & Conquer people, or some of them, or same engine as I think Tiberium Wars. Battle for Middle-earth. Come on, let's get that going. All those Command & Conquer games, get them fixed up.
Yay!
And where the fuck is my goddamn Commando Tiberium game? Tiberium.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted that. I
That
wanted
was
that.
still baffles me why they killed that game.
I like the
Especially
idea.
the
Now,
name.
this is not... Kibs is dumb, okay? Kibs is saying this now so people know. Kibs wants to be able to go inside of the barracks. Not because he... Like, I just want to see what it looks like. I want to go inside...
could do
I want to
that
go
in
inside that
Renegade.
little fucking shed there. I want to see what that looks like. I want to see what that looks like inside there. I want to drive the Tesla truck around.
You could do that in Renegade.
You could, except you couldn't do it for Red Alert because the Red Alert version got canceled. Sadness.
Yep.
Oh man, a Renegade. Look, if you're gonna do Renegade again, you gotta do it. You gotta do it like full hamminess, okay? That cheese, that fucking action
Just
cheese.
have you basically have the main character as an 80s action stuff.
I mean, that's what
literally what he
Havoc
was.
was. His name was fucking Havoc. What a tryhard.
Nick Parker, codename
Such a
Havoc.
chuny boo name to have. He's like, oh, my name is Havoc.
To be fair, that's his code name. Yeah, he probably doesn't choose it.
No, it wasn't his. Oh, the
No,
cutscene
that
in
was his
Renegade.
codename. It was his code name.
Remember the cutscene when they're like in the command carrier and it shows the RTS view?
Yeah, and then it's the first trailer for the book Fans Come and Conquer All the World. We've got a present for you. And then you have it's a Come and Conquer. The thing is, the song is literally called Come and Conquer, playing and.
Smell like dead fish in here.
What?
No. Don't worry, I'm just quoting something completely different. Oh, look
Kids
at
on a tangent about fish again.
it smells like dead fish in here.
It smells like what?
You don't remember? I'll remind you later. It's a very naughty joke from another stream. From a TV show called South Park. It's okay, fine. I'll say it.
Yeah, no, I
It's
think now I got it. Yeah,
the guy
no,
that
I
can't
got it.
speak right. Like, smell like
Yeah, no,
dead
no, I
fish
got
in
it.
here. Okay. I was just trying to jog your memory.
I just didn't get why you came up with it, but well,
Cautiously optimistic. I mean, hey, look at the bright side. Blizzard, as much as I've shat on them lately,
they just
besides
got bought out
the one, yeah, they got bought up by George Soros. Oh
because they
god,
fucked up so much.
my
he
soul.
decided,
The fact that he fucking owns their balls now makes me sad. But what was it? StarCraft Remaster wasn't bad. That's one
Yeah,
remaster
no,
I bought that I also liked, and that's why I had high hopes in Reforged. I was like, well, track record-wise, they're pretty good. Like, StarCraft Remaster runs pretty well, plays fun, and it was nice to play the campaign again. Yeah, except I did, like, 12 missions and then got busy and never finished it. Still have to beat it, still.
in other words, Kibs has short attention span.
I have the StarCraft on the N64. That one had split-screen co-op. Now, when it comes to RTSs, Kibs is a bit of a slut. He likes to buy them all on all variants because the novelty is something that sells to me of having an RTS on a console. I even modded. I remember I was able to get. I don't remember modding. I was able to get it on my PSP back when I had one of those little shitty things. I got.
Oh, I had a PSP and it was great. I jailbreak mine. I could play Super Nintendo straight on that. It was great.
Oh, that's cool. I wish I did that. No, I
That
had Red Alert 1 on
actually
mine.
made the PSP one of the best console buys I ever did. The jailbreaking thing. The custom firmware was. Fuck.
Oh man, the PSP. That was a cool little thing. Honestly, just the idea that it could be modded and broken to do things that it shouldn't be able to is awesome.
That's why the whole homebrew thing is nice, but I think we are digressing a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, this is the Bickering Bunch video. This is something that people who watch our content should be accustomed to by now.
I already see the comments bitching. You're digressing this!
There you have a good valid point, probably. They always do. That's the unfortunate part.
I mean, now that I said it, they're gonna do this.
I mean, bitch about Fairman. Kibs is great. Fairman, on the other hand, little spurge.
I digress a lot. And
Little
the best
Fairbear
thing
needs to
about
be
me
educated.
digressing is Kibs is very weak and he digresses as well.
Fuck, I want this now, though. I don't want to wait 2 months. The thing is, I would buy it now. If it said somewhere like if you buy it now, you get a week early access, they could abuse that. Because Kibs is vulnerable right now. God, I talk in third person way too
They
much.
should make a
That's a bad habit.
special edition with physical goodies.
No.
I want
mercy.
I want my physical, fully functional little mammoth tank. Yeah, that one is in both games. That would be great.
They gotta add the mammoth tank to Tiberium Sun, remember? If you get one of the crates, there's a mammoth tank in it.
Yeah, it was it. It was still a good unit. It was certainly better than the Titan.
Either or.
The only thing you had was a mammoth Mark
Before
II,
we
and that
hit
one
the
was-
hour mark, I think it's time to wrap this up. So,
Yeah.
until next time.
Goodbye.